Pinball, pinball, motherfucking pinball. If you cannot tell, this is a video about pinball. The game where you load that shiny silver ball and fire it off to score points and whatever is on the board. Prevent the ball from going to the bottom of the board using various flippers on the side, and you'll have no problem getting the high score. Just do not tilt the board or your run is invalidated. Not only is my favorite time waster in an arcade, it's also my favorite pastime since I have relatives who have pinball machines in their homes. Close to 10s we are talking about. I wonder how high the electric bill was for keeping those machines on for half the day. Knowing how New York is, I wouldn't be surprised. $300 for the electricity alone? Man, I should just move to Florida. You know what? Never mind. I don't want to be the next Daily Florida Man headline. Besides, does anyone remember that Windows pinball game that came pre-installed out the box? Yeah, I bet you used your 2-hour computer time your parents gave to you all on playing that game. It is okay, I was one of those kids too, so you're not the only one. So why do I want to talk about pinball all of a sudden? It seems a bit off-putting that I want to be talking about a popular game that used to be in the arcades all of a sudden. Well, two things. Number one, screw you is my video. Number two, I came across this game in its full glory when I was in AnimeNYC for the cost of an arm and a leg, of course. Price cap can go to hell, of course. That game was Alien Crush, and it's part of a bigger collection of themed pinball games known as the Crush Pinball series. So let's take a look at this. Put in your quarters, and let's enjoy some pinball. So the first game in the series is known as the Alien Crush for the Turbografx 16. Wait, some of you don't know what the Turbografx 16 is? Unless you watched my previous Splatterhouse review, chances are you don't know what the 16 stands for, let alone the console existed in the first place. So here's a quick crash course. Take notes, cause I'm gonna repeat this. The Turbografx 16 was a collaborative effort between tech giant NEC and the video game developers Hudson Soft. Yes, that Hudson Soft that developed the Bomberman series and the original Mario parties before ND Cube took over the development mantle. Known as the PC Engine in Japan, was the first console to be released in the fourth generation of consoles known as the 16-bit era. The 16 in its name is not only for show, just saying. The console was released in North America in 1989 to the price of $200. Initially selling well at first when it came out, but came into a lot of trouble once the Genesis and the SNES came out, which exposed how limited the TG16 was in hardware power. Not to mention the lack of brand awareness stateside compared to Japan, with America not even knowing who NEC was since it is their first time in the Western market. The console was discontinued in 1994 as a result due to the points mentioned before and fledgling sales numbers. However, just like the Wii U, there are hidden gems to find within the console. This is where Alien Crush comes in, released in 1998 by Naxat, and looking at their repertoire of games, they are only well known for the Crush pinball games it seems right here. I mean, what even is Super Gomoku Narabe Renku? You know what? Pretend you never heard me say that, because I don't want to end up like what happened in the last video where I just butchered 3 languages in one video. I ain't gonna butcher the Japanese language all over again. Alien Crush is a game that simulates pinball tables to the T. You even got a dedicated tilt button to control the path of the ball even if it doesn't do jack shit. Being the first of this series, there are a lot of growing pains to go through with, but before we tackle said negatives, let's talk about what makes these games so unique. Well, first off, it's one of the few pinball video games that came out at the time that was actually well done. That deserves some merit right there. Not to mention this game is heavily inspired by Ridley Scott's Alien, which is an aesthetic you see throughout the entire board. Like any pinball game, your goal is to use the many flippers on the board to keep the ball alive and in play. Basic controls are the same throughout the series, with one of the face buttons being the right flipper, while the left direction button controls the left flipper. You can even tilt the board to alter the ball's direction, phrasing, but for my gameplay, it didn't do jack shit to help me out as I said before. The game doesn't even give you a penalty for over tilting the board, so tilt to your heart's content. The board design is phenomenal, and it gives a sense that it's alive. Like when your ball hits anything that is organic based, it kind of pulsates, which kind of gives anyone nausea if they're a bit squeamish. There are alien creatures all over the board, and it's your duty to use your ball to destroy many of them to reach the top score in the local leaderboards, which is shown once you drain all your balls. Freezing! Again. The board is divided into 2 screens, with one screen being the bottom board and the other being the top board. Transitioning between these 2 screens is very jarring because there's no vertical scrolling, meaning if the ball goes off the screen, there's a split-second pause to the game, therefore making the game not smooth. Seeing this for the first time can be aggravating, and sometimes the ball can be bouncing between these 2 screens, flashing in and out, and it can cause anyone an epileptic seizure as a result. Bonus rooms are accessible once you complete certain tasks on the board. There are 4 of them in total as labeled here, here, don't forget here, and ooh, this one is easy to miss. Some of them require your bonus multipliers to be a certain number, which is this thing right here. See, life is much better if you directly point something out to people. No offense to blind people, of course. One entry requires your bonus multiplier to be even, while another requires it to be odd. Not that hard to follow, you just gotta land the ball into the mouth when it's open. Seriously, how many times am I gonna be saying phrasing in this video? Once in the bonus stage, you must complete the given task in order to get said points. Once you complete a wave, you get a round bonus, which adds to your bonus points. These tasks include clearing the board of enemies or sometimes defeat the boss in the room. Once the ball drains, you're awarded the bonus points depending how many rounds you lasted. This goes with any Crush pinball game moving forward from now on. The music in this game matches the tone of the board. A whole synth horror feel which reminds you of the Splatterhouse series. Best track in my opinion goes to this bonus stage where you go against this centipede looking like alien. The music adds to the feeling that something foreign is coming after you in an alien horror type of way, but do not let my opinion deter you from the fact that the soundtrack straight up slaps. Well, that is until... How is that for a seamless transition? You better cherish it because it's the only one you're ever going to get in this video because they're so hard to write in. Released in 1990 for Turbografx 16, once again, obscure console leads to a game's obscurity. Feeding off the success of Alien Crush, Naxxat decided on a theme change for his next game. Devil's Crush has a medieval setting to it instead of a futuristic setting that its predecessor had, vouching for a more demon/occult look to it. I mean hell, it has pentagrams all over the board, so you can tell this game has a bit more of an edge to it, unless you're playing the American release where the pentagrams get changed into 5-pointed stars. Damn you, censorship! Besides the new looks, the game has made some improvements from his last game. One immediate improvement is that there's vertical scroll in the game compared to 1-second transitions, which makes the whole game feel a lot smoother. Not to mention the board is a lot bigger, having 3 board levels with some awesome design choices. This is by far the best board in the entire series. Here I'll show the entire board so you can bask in its entire glory. As in the case of Alien Crush, there are enemies on the board and multiple targets to hit. Some targets give access to bonus rooms. There are 6 bonus rooms compared to 4 in the last game, which act as the boss battles in this game, but in reality, this is another way to add to your score. The main goal of this game is to get a maximum of 999,000. Wait, what? Let me say that again. The main goal of this game is to get a maximum of 999,999,999 points, which looks like a tall order at first, but thankfully the game has an added password system because the creators knew that this was a bit of a reach. You get a small ending once you reach the max score. Take a look for yourself. The music in this game is way better than Alien Crush. Just the main theme alone gets your adrenaline pumping to the beat. It's basically a synth galore and it's one of the best music I've ever heard from the 16-bit era. Overall, this is how a sequel should be. Take everything that is good from the last game and magnify it times 1,000. Then you iron out the kinks and you got yourself a good sequel. Looking at you, Kingdom Hearts 3. Overall, this game gets my sealed gold of approval at first on the channel since I just started the award. Consider yourself lucky, Devil's Crush. Now, I would talk more about the game, but I will be repeating the same things that I said in the Alien Crush portion, so I'm not going to do that. However, this does give me a chance to talk about the Genesis port of Devil's Crush a bit. I am pretty sure if you've been around the video gaming block, you might have heard of Tengen. Yes, that Tengen, the ones that literally copy and paste Nintendo's patented programs to bypass the NES lockout chip and got sued for it. They legally ported this game to the Genesis, and no, this is not one of their unlicensed copies, it's a legitimate Sega licensed copy, surprisingly. Yet another amazing thing is that the game is a solid port of the original Turbografx version. However, it does have a shortfalls for being an inferior console in some ways. Are all the Sega fans gone after my outrageous statement? Okay, good, we need no fanboys over here. Let me spit the facts to you. While yes, the Genesis is a much more powerful true 16-bit console, the colors of this game seem a bit more washed out than the TG version, probably because of the limited color palette the Genesis has, hence why it looks a bit bogged down. Also, the board looks a bit crushed horizontally because of the scoreboard on the right side of the screen. Kind of a hindrance since it kills the aesthetic of the board a bit for me, but this has been my personal preference since none of the games have it. Otherwise, the bonus stages have been reworked and new ones have been added too. Shows the true power of the Genesis with its quote-unquote blast processing. Also, the music is not made by the original composer, however, it sounds just as good as the original, which is a lot to say because the original music is kick-ass. I swear this music is so conflicting. One day I'd be thinking that, oh, that the TG version is good, but no, the Genesis version is a lot better than the other one. And vice versa. I mean, I need someone to smack some sense to me. What is my hand doing? What? Oh! What the fuck? Oh, thank you. That really did help out. Whoever controlled my hand, of course. I mean, that's a whole different story, but let's not talk about that. I don't want to be thinking about it. When porting the game to the West, the name was changed to Dragon Sphere because of course the West wants to be a bunch of Puritans. However, this is how the West got exposed to the Crush Pinball series without even knowing it, since the TG has always been unknown in the West. With this success, Tengen decided to make a sequel on their own without Naxat's blessing, and as a result, we get Dragon's Revenge. This sounds like a setup for Matt McMuscle's What Happened series, but I'm not going into any details of this game because the game flat out sucks and should not even be mentioned in this video ever again. You know what will really help me clear out a bad memory like this? A nice cold cup of bleach. So as you can see here, I'm not sponsored by any of the bleach companies, but hey, I'm available. Call me, please. I'll drink your products. So anyways, bon appetit. Wait, bon appetit? That's not right. Whoa, whatever. For the love of God, please do not drink bleach. Do not listen to my dumbass skit. I was being edgy for no reason. Please ignore it. Jockey Crush is the next game on the list, a Japanese-only Crush pinball game that came out on the Super Famicom, believe it or not. Besides the WiiWare remake of Alien Crush, this is the only case of a Crush pinball game coming to a Nintendo console. At least this game was made by Naxat compared to Dragon's Fury. Can't figure out an educated reason as to why this game didn't came out in the West, but from how the game looks, I feel some parts can get lost in translation because it has a Japanese aura to it with its own theme board. While not a bad game, it is a complete downgrade from Devil Crush. From the look of the board to the layout of the board itself, the whole entire board feels unstructured and a bit out of place. Like for example, the bottom part of the board has a narrow exit to the next part of the board because of the flipper that is in the way, therefore making most of your scoring opportunities on the bottom of the board unless you get a bit lucky, and that is when you can score a lot of points. Contributing to the growing pain is the ball physics, which feels floaty compared to past games. Makes it hard to land those trick shots since you don't know half of the time where the ball is going. Not to mention the bonus stages look flat out ugly, and I mean look at this stage, it's the face of a person that approaches the uncanny valley. I mean yikes. That is a combination of a curse image to something out of a horror manga. This game probably suffers from how inexperienced Naxat is when it comes to making games on the Super Famicom. This game is nothing but a disappointment and it just leaves you wanting more. But on the bright side, the game still has its core elements, which in the end what makes a Crush pinball game, unlike Dragon's Revenge. With nothing much else to say about this game, here is the ending of the game. Later on, the series will get a minor reboot through WiiWare. That game is Alien Crush Returns. Now, I do not have any gameplay of this game because I neglected to download it before the Wii Shop channel shut down. Damn you, Nintendo, for not preserving games! Luckily, you can play it through an emulator like Dolphin so you can experience it for yourself. It's basically the same game but with a new look. Looks like something out of an H.C. Geiger work, not going to lie about that. If you do not know who he is, well, let Google help you out because he is well known for creating the Xenomorphs in the Alien series. Even though this game doesn't exist in the realm of legality anymore, we can always remember for what it once was. And that's pretty much it for the Crush Pinball series. Unless Hudson Soft decides to revive the series out of nowhere, then I don't think we're going to be seeing another one anytime soon, which is sad to say. But only a man can hope, looking at you F-Zero fans and Metroid fans. I'm with you too. So what did we learn today? Pinball is fucking awesome. No, that's lame. Pinball is the way of life. No, that's not going to work either. Play the series, it'll be worth your time. No, you know what? I can't think of a good way to end this, so I'll just end it right here. No, wait! I thought of...